The mayor of Kansas City is backing off an order for pastors to collect data on church members and attendees, now asking churches to do so voluntarily. Liberty Counsel's Matt Staver says the mayor's decision is good, but, quote, the bad news which Kansas City must still remedy is the continued unconstitutional treatment of churches and houses of worship compared to other secular gatherings. Our Mark Martin spoke with cultural commentator and radio host Todd Starnes about what's so troubling about the original order and the overall mindset of leaders during these times.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? I had to make sure, I went online just to verify that the mayor's first name was not Adolf, because certainly his actions and his behavior are very Hitler-esque, Nazi-esque. This is a very, very troubling story. So an emergency order was handed down, and within this emergency order, it applies to non-essential businesses, and they consider churches to be non-essential. So they're included in this order, this edict that's coming down from City Hall. And they're telling the churches that anyone who enters the church building, their name has to be recorded, it has to be documented, and then, should it be necessary, those documents must be turned over to city leaders. I just want people to understand what the mayor of Kansas City is telling them. If you go into the church house, your name, your address, your telephone number is documented, and that information is then given to the local government officials. Troubling.
What has been the response to this by pastors in Kansas City and by citizens there?
Yeah, a lot of outrage, to be perfectly honest with you. Liberty Counsel, which is run by Matt Staver, they are representing several churches that are going to fight this order. It's so bizarre that, I actually, when I got the press release from Liberty Counsel, I reached out to them just to make sure I wasn't being pranked. And they assure me that this is the real deal. And I've actually had a chance to see the official order that was coming down from City Hall. So I suspect we're going to see some sort of a lawsuit filed here. I do not believe this is going to go unanswered by the Christians in Kansas City.
Why are local leaders doing these things that many would consider fly in the face of basic American constitutional rights?
Yeah, this is actually what I write about in my book, Culture Jihad. This is an effort to literally eradicate our values and our constitutional rights. And they're doing it under the guise of public safety. And we've heard this time and time again. Do not go outside of your house. If you do, you might kill somebody with the virus. Do not go to a church house. You've got to move your church services online. We don't want people gathering inside a church building, or you might kill grandma. Well, nobody wants to kill grandma, but that's not the point here. They want to terrorize citizens into obeying what are clearly unconstitutional rules and regulations.
How can we as Americans and Christians navigate this culture war, even as pandemic restrictions are still in place and even after the stay-at-home orders expire?
Yeah, look, we've got to fight back here. And the Christians in Kansas City have an obligation under the Constitution to stand up for their rights. And that's the issue. A lot of Americans are not willing to stand up for their rights. They're afraid to do so. Well, we cannot be afraid.